Hi there, in this video I'm going to show you how we can create a variation of a part with minimal effort. With that I mean we don't have to redo any of the operations besides creating just that of what defines the variation, and in this case that's a sketch. So here we see like this fidget spinner toy. You can imagine a bearing in the center, and to have a variation of this it can be as simple as having this variable set with all these dimensions with the option of like a spinner style is what I named the property. And here I've added a second option. So here we have the blade option, which is selected because I think this looks like blades. And if I click on the slot and I click off and we wait a bit, we see this is a very simple shape just for the purpose of this video. You see that we have a variation, but the fillet operation and all that, also the skewed sides or the sloped sides, if you will, are still there. Perhaps you didn't notice. Let me switch again back to the blade. And then I will show you the order of the operations of this body. So here we have the single spinner arm, which is just this, and it's as thick as the center ring that will have the bearing. And then we have these other operations to finally get to this spinner that was just on the screen. So we have the polar pattern to repeat these arms, and you see that the center has gone lost. So I created another operation for that, and filleting all the edges. So here's the fillet operation, and like I said before, the spinner arm sketch is what defines the shape of the spinner or the style of the spinner. And then we have the sloped side, which is this one. If you look from the side, you can see it's sloped on the top, and then we have this mirror operation to also slope it on the bottom. And so the arm style is here in the pad, and I could have just selected another sketch here in the profile. Then you also need to take care of that you're selecting some axis other than the sketch that was here, or else the pad operation fails. But let's not get into that detail. I could have selected this profile here, but of course the point is if you have like this complex part in which you have many operations and you have many variations for a single style, having to click all these different profiles and disabling and enabling or suppressing and unsuppressing these features can get cumbersome. So it's really nice to have just one place where you can click and you have this different style. So now I'm going to close this document and going into detail, or actually I'll leave it open, but I'm going into detail of how to set this up. I'm going to try to go over it quickly. First, we'll create two different sketches, of course, because otherwise we don't have a different style we can select. I'll do it really simple. This is just a circle. I'll give it a name so we can easily distinct it with the other sketch, which is going to be a rectangular shape, sort of a square, but not exactly. But I'm going to call it square anyway. Square. So now we have these two sketches. I'm going to pad the first one, and now we see that we have this one, and I could, like I said before, I could change it here and then you'll see it break. Let's do that. Clicking too fast. So let's click the square here, and now we see it break. It doesn't do anything. Yeah, it is broken now. It says invalid shape. That's because of the axis. So I'm quickly going to fix that. Going to show hide the planes, and I only need to see this z-axis. Going to tell this pad operation to be looking at, oh, I can click it here as well, at the z-axis. What did I do wrong? The reference axis is still not set correctly. I probably clicked in the wrong place or something. No. Ah, I forgot about it. I need to go into edit the path operation. Sorry. Edit path. Yes, here I can select custom direction, and here I can then click on the axis. Yeah, you see, it's working now. So now I can get the basic mechanism of it working. I can switch the sketch and we get a different shape. But like I said before, we don't want to select the sketch in the path operation itself because we can have many operations that together determine the final shape of the body, of the variant of the body that we want. So I'm going to show you. We're going to use a variable set, which is a default feature in FreeCAD 1.0. I'm not going to add anything, but for adding the properties that I'm going to add, I'm actually using a add-on which is called dynamic data. And it's not required for the sketch to work, but it's a really convenient UI utility to add these properties that otherwise I find difficult to manage. So you can just download that tools add-on manager and type dynamic data, and then you will get this if you have it enabled, of course. So I'm going to add a property to this variable set, and that's of the enumeration type. I'm going to call this style. Style. So here I'm going to write circular. I entered by accident, and now we have this empty thing, so I need to go back, edit enumeration, and square. So now we have two options here. If I click, nothing happens because we didn't bind it to anything yet. And now we're going to add the profiles for these variations. And what's really convenient in FreeCAD is if you hover over this, you see the technical details. This is of type links up, property links up. And what we want is another property, add a property, which is a links up list. So this will contain the profiles. I'm not going to add anything here because this is really convenient. We can just click this one and say what needs to be inside our profiles property. And now we have, you need to watch the order though. Now we have circle and square. And you see these brackets and a comma. This is, the comma separates the items and the brackets indicate what's in this collection. And this is like an array. If you're familiar with software programming, you already knew what I'm going to say. An array starts at index 0. And then the next item is 1, 2, 3, and so on. So now here we have a 0 and a 1. If we were looking at this in numeric terms. For us, it's readable. That's what FreeCAD handles for us. And here we have this readable human text, but again, this has value 0, because also this is like this list, and this has value 1. So what we can do now is we're going to this path operation, and instead of manually determining this value, we're going to use an expression. And perhaps you are familiar already with expressions, and you are used to clicking this symbol, which isn't here. But still we can enter an expression, which is by right-clicking on the property name and clicking expression. So we have this var set, and it has profiles, which is a list. And you can select one of those items in the list with the index. So here you can see I can specify 0 or 1, but we don't want to manually type that enumeration value. We have style for that, because our style property is what we added manually as an enumeration, which I just showed. And now you see, here we have the style, which is circular. If I now press square and click off, you see that this path operation automatically selects the square sketch for us. And also here you see that inside the body, the sketch circle is taken out of the pad operation and put inside the body. I'll do it again. Circular, you see that a recalculation is required. There you go. And of course, again, for a single pad operation, this probably doesn't add much to be able to set it from here. But if you have like these multiple operations that together define the style or the variant of your body, it's really convenient if all those are set up to selecting a single value here. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching. I hope you learned something. At least for me, this is like a documentation if I will ever forget about it.